10 habits that are aging your image, and no one has the courage to tell you. Have you ever wondered what people really think when they look at you? There are signs of aging that you show and don't even notice on a daily basis. Most worryingly, these signs may be driving others away without anyone having the courage to comment on it. Over the years, it becomes natural for certain habits to change gradually and almost imperceptibly. Some of these everyday behaviors, as small as they may seem, say a lot about your social presence. They can profoundly affect your image, your presence in groups, and even your long-term emotional well-being. You've probably noticed how some older people manage to maintain an aura of elegance and constant respect. Meanwhile, other people of the same age, without even realizing it, become less noticed, less heard, and almost invisible in the social environments they frequent. What causes these behavioral changes with aging? Aging is an absolutely natural process, but full of transformations that occur silently over time. These changes do not only happen in the physical body that everyone can easily see. They also occur in the daily thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that make up our personality. One of the main causes of these changes is chronic fatigue that gradually accumulates over the years. Even without the person consciously realizing it, the mood decreases and the enthusiasm is no longer the same. Another extremely important factor is the gradual loss of external stimuli that keep our attention active. As the routine becomes more predictable and less challenging, the need to take care of one's own image is being forgotten. Retirement, for example, often removes the daily impulse to look presentable to colleagues and professional partners. This change of context can generate an unconscious feeling that it is no longer necessary to try so hard. In addition, there are physiological changes that directly affect behavior and personal perception. Vision can worsen, making it difficult to perceive details in the mirror during personal care. The sense of smell becomes less sensitive, preventing the perception of body odors that others perceive clearly. Hearing slowly decreases, changing the volume of the voice without us noticing the change. There is also a very significant emotional factor that cannot be ignored in this process. Over time, it becomes common to feel less valued by the society that celebrates youth. Many feel less heard at family gatherings and less needed in the professional circles they once dominated. Is it possible to reverse habits that age your image? Yes, it is absolutely possible to reverse many of these habits with dedication and appropriate self-awareness. The best part is that this process doesn't have to be difficult or complicated to generate visible results. Many habits that age your image have been created gradually over time through repetition. The human brain has a remarkable characteristic called neuroplasticity that allows adaptation at any age. This means that it can change, adapt, and create new neural pathways even after the age of 60, 70, or 80. For this transformation to happen, an essential first step is necessary: awareness of one's own habits. As long as you don't consciously realize what you're doing automatically, nothing can effectively change. Reversing these habits doesn't require drastic revolutions in your current lifestyle. It mainly requires constancy in small daily actions that can be implemented gradually. A simple and effective example is to look in the mirror more carefully and honestly every day. This simple gesture can completely change your perception of the image you convey to the outside world. Another powerful change is to regain attention to the small details that make a significant difference in appearance. Regularly trimming nails that were previously neglected for weeks will make a noticeable difference. Replacing worn-out pieces of clothing that previously went unnoticed will renew your visual presence. Investing a few additional minutes a day in basic self-care will send important signals to your brain. These small, everyday gestures send a powerful message to the brain about self-worth. They clearly say, "I still care about myself and my image." The brain responds to these stimuli with more energy, high self-esteem, and renewed vitality. What happens to your self-image when these behaviors take hold? The way you see yourself changes absolutely everything in your social and emotional life. It defines how you position yourself in the world and interact with other people on a daily basis. When certain negative behaviors take hold, your self-image gradually begins to distort. This process happens slowly, almost invisibly to your own conscious awareness. You stop grooming yourself as you did before, without noticing the gradual change. Stop worrying about details that were previously important for your personal presentation. It accepts age-related labels as if they were definitive limits to its possibilities. Little by little, he begins to see himself as diminished in comparison to his real potential. He feels less relevant in the social groups he regularly frequents. It is less seen in situations where it was previously the center of attention. It is less heard in conversations where his opinion was previously valued. This negative perception affects your body posture, your facial expression, and even your vital energy level. Their self-esteem decreases considerably for no apparent or justified reason. Your motivation for social activities weakens without you fully understanding the cause. Without consciously realizing it, you begin to walk away from valuable opportunities for social connection and meaning. Conversations at family gatherings become shorter and less meaningful than before. Outings with friends become increasingly rare and less pleasurable. The mirror is often avoided because it conveys an image that does not correspond to its internal identity. What are the consequences if you don't change this now? Ignoring these habits may seem harmless at first, but their consequences accumulate significantly over time. The first loss is very subtle but deeply impactful. You simply cease to be noticed in social environments. The people around you begin to see you with less attention and consideration than before. Their presence gradually becomes commonplace, almost invisible in gatherings where they were once valued. You begin to feel this withdrawal without fully understanding its real causes. The feeling of social isolation begins to grow within you daily. A persistent sense of disconnection with people who were once close arises. The second consequence is predominantly emotional and affects your psychological well-being on a daily basis. Their self-esteem suffers constant shocks for no apparent or rationally justified reasons. Your zest for life gradually fades away without you noticing the change. You begin to question internally whether you still have personal value or social relevance. In many cases, a silent cycle of sadness arises that is not identified as a real problem. This emotional state leads to discouragement for activities that previously brought pleasure and satisfaction. This condition reinforces the same negative habits that caused the problem in the first place. The third consequence directly affects your physical health in ways that aren't immediately noticeable. Carelessness with appearance is usually accompanied by other important carelessness for well-being. The diet gradually becomes more unbalanced and less nutritious than it should be. Inadequate hydration affects several body systems in a negative and progressive way. What precautions can help identify and adjust these habits? The first fundamental attitude is to observe yourself honestly and without negative judgments. Pay conscious attention to your own everyday behaviors that go unnoticed. Notice how you dress for different social occasions and daily engagements. Analyze how you express yourself verbally in family conversations and gatherings with friends. Ask yourself honestly how you feel when you look in the mirror each morning. These questions may seem too simple, but they reveal deep aspects of your self-image. Looking honestly at these everyday details already represents a big step towards positive change. The second important precaution is to listen with genuine attention and without defensiveness. Listen carefully to what others say about you, even when it's hard to accept. Also pay special attention to what they fail to say out of embarrassment or politeness. Silence on certain issues is also a valuable form of social feedback. The third essential precaution is to actively solicit honest feedback from people close to you. Gently ask someone you trust, "Is there anything I could improve about my appearance or behavior?" The answer may surprise you initially, but it can positively transform your self-perception. The fourth precaution involves maintaining regular appointments with qualified health professionals. Many of these habits are directly linked to hearing, vision, or mental health that deserve specialized attention. Simple tests can bring clarity about conditions that affect your social behavior. 1. The detail that makes you look sloppy without realizing it. With advancing age, small daily care can go unnoticed despite its social importance. It is exactly these details that form the first lasting impression that other people have on you. Unkempt nails without regular maintenance convey an image of personal negligence. Untidy hair, or hair without proper cut, suggests a lack of self-care and interest in one's own appearance. Wrinkled clothes or clothes with the appearance of excessive wear communicate carelessness with personal presentation. These visual signals accumulate over time and create an overall negative picture. Even if you don't consciously notice these gradual changes, other people will certainly notice every detail. Walter, an 82-year-old man, went through this common situation among older people. He has always been praised for his impeccable appearance and care for personal details. However, as time went by, he stopped cutting his hair as regularly as necessary. She stopped taking care of her eyebrows that were previously well trimmed and defined. She didn't realize when it was time to change her worn-out clothes for new and appropriate pieces. His family noticed these changes gradually, but no one commented out of respect or embarrassment. Her neighbors have also noticed the difference in her appearance over the years. It was only when he really looked in the mirror carefully that he realized how much he had changed negatively. After this realization, he cut his hair properly after months of neglect. He shaved the beard that had been unkempt for weeks without him noticing. He bought 2 new shirts to replace those that were visibly worn out. 2. Why your voice may be driving people away. As time goes by, many people begin to speak louder without realizing this significant change. Others often interrupt or dominate the conversation without giving space to other participants. All this may seem like just a harmless way of speaking to those who do it habitually. In reality, it may be a sign of something deeper that deserves attention and care. Hearing loss is extremely common with the natural aging of the human sensory system. This process can be gradual and silent, going unnoticed by those who experience it. Precisely for this reason, the change in the volume of the voice is not noticed by the person himself. The person sincerely believes that they are speaking in a normal tone that is appropriate for the environment. However, others around him feel the uncomfortable impact of the high volume constantly. George, a 77-year-old man, loved to talk to his family at every meeting. But little by little, people began to turn away from him during family gatherings. During dinners, he spoke excessively loudly, bothering those nearby. He often cut others' sentences in half, not allowing them to complete their thoughts. He gave answers before he fully listened to what the others wanted to express. 3. The mistaken clothing that brings down your elegance in seconds. The way you dress communicates something important about your personality before you even speak. This reality applies to any age, but it becomes especially significant for older people. Over time, it is common to keep old pieces in the wardrobe for comfort or custom. Some clothes become excessively loose after natural bodily changes of old age. Others lose their original color and attractive appearance after numerous washes over the years. Some have cuts that just don't match your current body shape anymore. Even without any conscious intention, the image you convey may seem careless in the eyes of others. Harold, at 80, has always been proud of his personal style and elegant appearance. However, in recent years, he began to repeat the same worn-out clothes constantly. 4. How negative energy drives people away in silence. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how your words profoundly affect those around you? Complaining about just about everything that happens around you conveys constant negativity. Frequently criticizing people, situations, and social changes creates a heavy and unpleasant environment. Repeatedly commenting on how "it used to be better" may seem like just a harmless opinion. In fact, these expressions carry enormous emotional weight for those who hear them regularly. This weight, little by little, drives away people who seek lighter and more positive interactions. Roger, a 75-year-old man, has always been known for his intelligence and knowledge. However, over time, his speech gradually changed without him noticing this transformation. He constantly complained about modern technology that he couldn't fully comprehend. He criticized young people and their behaviors different from the standards of his time. He categorically stated that nothing else worked properly as in the distant past. 5. The subject that no one has the courage to talk about in front of you. Strong odors, such as bad breath or body odor, can drive people away silently without any direct comment. Out of respect or embarrassment, most people prefer not to comment on this sensitive subject. Often, those who have the problem do not even realize its existence, since the sense of smell tends to weaken significantly with age. Factors such as dry mouth, medication use, changes in metabolism, and digestion all contribute to this common problem. This was the case for 78-year-old Frank, who gradually noticed the estrangement from his close friends. When he realized that he drank little water daily, he began to hydrate himself more properly. 6. Do you use cell phones and technology in a way that embarrasses your grandchildren? Technology is present in virtually every aspect of modern and social life. For many older adults, it can pose a significant challenge that creates awkward situations. Mistakes like sending messages in the wrong WhatsApp group cause unnecessary confusion. Unintentionally sharing photos on social media can expose private moments inappropriately. Talking excessively loudly on the cell phone in public places bothers people around unnecessarily. Although these behaviors are not malicious in their intention, they can generate embarrassment for close family members. Unfortunately, this sometimes causes laughter or withdrawal from younger people who do not understand the difficulties. 7. Your posture is saying more about you than your words. As time goes on, it's common for the way you walk and physically carry yourself to change significantly. Short, drawn-out steps convey insecurity and unnecessary fragility to observers. Slumped and hunched shoulders suggest defeat and submission to the challenges faced during life. Constantly looking at the ground while walking demonstrates a lack of confidence in social settings. This hunched over, often unconscious posture conveys clear signs of tiredness, insecurity, and mental absence. On the other hand, walking with an upright body conveys vitality and presence in the environments frequented. 8. The habit of repeating stories may be making you irrelevant. Everyone loves to tell good stories, especially when they involve important and meaningful memories. However, always repeating the same narratives can generate the opposite effect to the desired one. Instead of bringing people together, it ends up gradually moving them away from shared conversations. This happens because recent memory tends to weaken with advanced age naturally. Meanwhile, the old memories remain alive and detailed for those who have experienced them intensely. The problem arises when these repeated stories dominate every family or social conversation without variation. They turn potentially interesting dialogues into predictable and tiring monologues for listeners. 9. Ignoring the current world can make you look outdated. The world is constantly changing with new words, customs, and forms of interpersonal relationships. Deliberately ignoring these natural transformations can create progressive and harmful social isolation. Others may see you as outdated or resistant to the changes needed for evolution. Phrases such as, "In my time it was better," can demonstrate a refusal to understand the present in its complexity. This attitude can especially alienate the new generations who seek a genuine exchange of experiences. They come to see you as someone closed to constructive dialogue and the exchange of perspectives. 10. Lack of curiosity can age your mind prematurely. The phrase, "If you stop learning, you start to really get older," reflects a great truth about cognitive development. Curiosity keeps the mind active, engaged, and youthful, regardless of chronological age. When we stop being interested in learning new things, we begin to lose our inner glow. Curious people remain engaged, stimulated, and connected with the world around them constantly. Those who believe that they are no longer old enough to do so limit their own growth. They get stuck in routines that don't offer anything new or stimulating to the brain. How to rescue your elegant presence even over the years? Elegance is not linked to youth, but to conscious intention and positive attitude towards life. It can be rescued at any stage of life through deliberate and consistent choices. It all starts with the fundamental decision that you deserve to feel good about yourself on a daily basis. Taking care of one's appearance, without necessarily following passing fads, is an important step in this process. Well-maintained clothes that are appropriate to your current body type make a significant difference in social perception. Well-groomed hair and styled appropriately for your age convey attention to personal details.